In this video, I would like to talk about the workflow that we use to release the package to CRAN, and in particular about the last step, that is, what do you do after the package has been actually released. So this issue in the organization 2 Degrees Investing on GitHub, in particular in the repo resources, the issue is number 256, explains all the steps that I usually follow, and in particular I'm going to be focusing on these last few bullets. So when we release a package, we use a GitHub issue associated to the repository that hosts the package. That issue is produced by the use this package function called useReleaseIssue, and it's going to add a bunch of check marks here or check boxes here that you will be kind of ticking as you move through the workflow. So I'm not gonna, in this particular video, I'm going to be covering only the last step where you waited for CRAN and then the package got accepted. What do you do next? These last two steps, basically. I wanted to demonstrate how easy it is with the current tooling if you're using the GitHub workflow. So what in the issue that I showed you before, in this one here, if you follow those instructions, you will end up in a situation where you submitted the package to CRAN, and the commit that hosts the change of the version of the package, along with, let me see what files changed here. Yeah, so this commit holds removing the developer marker, the in development marker of the version number, and then bumping it up to whatever we chose for that release. In this case, it was a patch release, right? We changed just this last the third component of the version number. So that's one file, and then the second file that got changed is news, actually, where the number is also reflected there, right? So this last commit is the one that was submitted, or at that point, at that commit, the package was submitted to CRAN, and in this case, it was accepted. So what do we do next? So once we submit, we push a pull request. Usually we call it submit and the number of the version of the package. So what we do first is to merge that pull request into the repository. So I'm gonna use my administrator privileges here because this is a pretty safe action. It's supported by tooling, so the chances that we're gonna get it wrong are extremely low. So I'm gonna confirm and merge. So that's the very first step, and well, actually that's the second step, because if you go to this issue that I'm using for guidance, in this bullet point, the bullet point that says to merge the pull request is in position 2. But anyway, I'm gonna next be removing this CRAN release file that I held locally, but let's get to that in a moment. So for now, this is what we did. We merged the pull request that holds the commits that were sent, or the commit at the point of the commit where the package was sent to CRAN. And also I wanted to clarify what it means that the issue should be kind of that the merging the pull request should close the release issue. Well, I show you this release issue, and this release issue has the number 324 in particular. So we want that issue to be closed when this pull request is merged, which means that we just need a comment in the pull request, right, that says which issue is associated to it, and that it should be automatically closed. So that is what that second bullet was telling us about. So now let's actually move to this point here, which is locally to delete the CRAN release file. So that's what we usually do. So if you see the git status of the same repository locally, you will see that there is this file that has never been added to the repo. Depending on your workflow, you might have added it before, but I generally don't. So because I haven't, I could remove it directly in a number of ways. For example, I usually use git clean with the flag -I for interactive. I get asked to confirm what is the action that I want to do over in this particular file, and now what I want to do is to clean it. So I press 1 and the file is gone. So if I do a git status now, the staging area is clean. So that was that step. So we did this one here, we did this one here. So now what I need to do is to pull the latest changes from the default branch that is now on GitHub. The default branch may vary, the name of it, and it also may vary if you're using the GitHub flow or the Git workflow, one of the two. But here we're gonna demonstrate the GitHub workflow, which is fairly simple, and we just need to merge things into master. So first I'm gonna, the git status confirms that the staging area is clean. That's important. So now what we need to do is to pull the latest changes from the default branch, right? So what we do is we change to master. In this case, the default branch is master, and here is where we do a git pull, right, to make sure that the default branch is up to date, so that it contains, my local branch contains the latest changes that exist on GitHub too. Now again, to ensure that the staging area is clean, just in case. So as you can see, these lines here suggest that, or show that local master has been updated. If I now do again, let me clean this with Ctrl+L. If I do again git pull, what you will see is that everything should be up to date, right? Because I already pulled the latest changes. So now another git status should confirm that there's nothing hanging in there, and finally I can continue the release issue as it is described on the issue that usually is created for us. So I'm going to be doing that from the default branch. In this case is master, and I do it locally, and then any changes that I do here I can push directly into master. Again, maybe you have as a policy to always do changes in pull requests, but when the workflow that you are working at a particular time is supported by tooling, and you did this in a very conscious way, I don't think we need to add more complexity to the workflow. We can just push things, in this case, directly to master, because we are following the script, we are doing it through tooling, so the chances that we're gonna get it wrong are very, very low, and worst case scenario we can also always revert things with Git. So what's the next step? Then the next step is to do a GitHub release, which is super easy. If you, we need R here, so let's pop up R, and let's clean this with Ctrl+L again. So I'm gonna paste what I copied from GitHub. So I'm gonna be calling use GitHub release. So this is going to open this window on my browser, create this draft of a release that holds the name of the package, the number of the version that we are using for this particular release, and these bullet points that come from the news file, the difference between the previous last release and this one. So I'm going to hit edit draft. I'm going to scroll down. Everything looks good to me, so the only thing I need to do is just say publish release. There's a couple of more options if this was a draft release, but it's not. It's a definitive release that has a counterpart on CRAN. So that's that. We are done with that stage. So now the final step, we can check this box here, is to use the version, because right now let's exit R. Let's have a quick look at the description file. The description file is 0.1.9, but now we want to keep developing this package, so we need certainly a developer version here. So let's pop up R again, and let's paste not that, it's not what I want to paste, this is what I want to paste. The function that we want to use that developer version is this one here. What's this? Sorry. So let's paste that here. Use dev version. and it's going to do the changes right away, and it's asking us if it's okay to commit those changes. So let's say yes, I'm happy with that. So now if I exit R, I could show you, well, my staging is going to be clean, but I could do a git show to show you what changed in the last commit. And as you can see, it was this 9,000 component was added to flag that this is a developer version package. And also in the news file, this new header was added that will hold under it every new changes that we do between version 0.1.9 and whatever we decide finally to release. So that's it. So now we have let's do a git log locally. Let me, oops, I missed that one. Git log, there you go, one line to show that now master is locally one commit ahead of my origin master. So what I need to do now is to push this to GitHub, which I do with a git push. Usually anything that we do on master, we do again via a pull request, but in this case I believe that it's an overkill because again, this is something that we do repetitively. It's following a very structured script, doing one step after the other based on the issue that we documented, and also is supported by tooling. So the commits that we are pushing here were not made by hand, but instead were made through features on of the use this package. Okay, with that I should see that now my git log one line shows that master is at the same line with the origin, and that is it. Let's see if there's anything here I need to clean up. Well, maybe do this final check here. This issue has been already closed when we merged the pull request. This pull request is merged. The branch associated to it, we have set it up so that it's automatically removed. So that's the release. So yeah, it's all good to go. We finished what I wanted to show. Thanks.